Hi, I'm Gudrun from GE Designs, and in this tutorial I'd like to show you how to make the Diana quilt from start to finish. This is a quilt that's very simple and easy and actually geared towards total beginners. So if you've never made a quilt, I'm going to help you through all the steps. So what you will need for this quilt, first of all, I'd like you to print out the tutorial, printed PDF tutorial from my website, and there you will see that you have 6 different size options, and that will give you the fabric requirements for the quilt. So this quilt is made with 10-inch squares only. So if you have a package of pre-cut squares, one pack will make the lap size quilt. So I'm going to show you how to use that with this package right here. You will also need a cutting mat, a rotary cutter, and I'm going to be using my Stribology squared ruler to show you how easy this comes together. You will also need thread. I like to use for square, because the squares are all different colors, I like to find a thread that is neutral and will blend in with multiple different colors. So my favorite are grays, and this is an Orifel cotton thread. You want to use cotton thread with your cotton fabrics, and I like the 50 weight thread. And if you're looking at the numbers on the thread and I'm not sure about the weight, the smaller the number, the thicker the thread. So I like 50, which is kind of right in the middle of the road. It's thin enough for us to piece, and it just goes really well together with this thread. You will also need a sewing machine, and nothing fancy. You will just need a machine that can sew a straight stitch, and we're going to adjust the seam. If you don't have a 1/4-inch foot on your machine, I'm going to show you how you can mark your sewing machine so you can get a perfect seam every time. You will also need a good iron, and after that we're ready to go. So first of all, I'm just going to unwrap my fabrics and going to pull up my ironing mat, because the first step you want to do is press your pieces. When you're working with pre-cuts like this, they have not been pressed, and every time we press fabric, they react when we press them for the first time. So I always like to give them just a little bit of a press. So I'm just going to take one at a time over here and then just give it a good press. Now I like to use a little bit of steam, so I'm going to turn my steam on, because that will just get things really nice and flat and kind of will also avoid any kind of shrinking. So I'm going to stack this right on top, because I'm going to be cutting a few of these at a time. So I'm going to go in here and get some more different colors. Let's get some greens. And every time you press the top one, the bottom ones are getting flatter and nicer. So we're going to stack up to 4 to 6 pieces at a time and cut them at the same time. Let's do 6. Now if you have a regular rotary cutter that is a 45mm cutter, you can cut up to 4 to 6 layers of fabric like this at a time with a Stribology ruler. If you have a wider blade, the 60mm cutter, you can cut up to 8 layers of fabric at the same time. So whatever you kind of have the courage to do, you can stack as many as you want and cut at the same time. So I'm just going to set these aside, and now I'm ready to cut my stack, this first stack. So I'm going to bring over my Stribology ruler, and whenever I'm cutting a lot of fabrics at the same time, or a lot of pieces, and I like to use my arrow stickers, the G-Easy arrow stickers, to mark my cutting slits, because then I am sure that I'm not making any mistakes. So I have the 0 and the 10 marked, because these are 10-inch squares, and I always like to cut through those slits just to make sure our pre-cut squares are accurate. But then I'm also going to put an arrow on the 3-inch slit and on the 7-inch slit as well. So then I'm going to find my 10-inch square, and I go on the side here, and I find the black 10-inch square here, and I want to center that right on top of my stack. So once it is centered, I am ready to cut, and I'm going to, again, like I said earlier, I'm going to cut through the 0 just to make sure that we trim off any excess in the squares, and then I'm going to cut through the 3 and the 7 and the 10. Now, if you've never used the stripology rulers, I recommend going into my YouTube channel and watching the Stripology 101 videos, where it shows you how to cut all these very accurately and using the ruler perfectly. So now we have these 3 units, and you want to go ahead and cut up all of your 10-inch squares the same way, and we're just going to keep them in the 3 stacks, all of our units, and now we're ready to bring them over to our sewing machine. So I'm going to be using my featherweight, and this is a machine that only has a straight stitch, but to make sure that this stitch is a 1/4 inch or a scant 1/4 inch, I like to measure and put markings on the bed of my sewing machine. I love this little perfect piecing seam guide by Perkins Dry Goods. It's a little ruler with a hole in it that you actually put your needle right through it. And this, I like to actually use this whether I have a 1/4 inch foot or not. This is a 1/4 inch foot I have on my machine, but all 1/4 inch feet are different. So I like to always check, because we want a scant 1/4 inch seam every time we are quilting or piecing. So then I just put my foot down, and I can see that if I use the edge of the front of the foot here, that the ruler goes in just ever so slightly. So I know that I want to make sure that the fabric, when I'm sewing, does not come out from underneath that foot at all. But I also like to put a few markings on my ruler, on the bed of my sewing machine, just to help out. So I love to use the arrow stickers, because I am sure that they are not going to leave any residue on the bed of my sewing machine, no matter how long I leave it on there. You do not want to use masking tape, because that will actually leave a residue if you leave it there for a while, and other tape. So I would always check it if you're going to use other different kinds of tapes, and make sure that it comes off nice and neatly. Especially since we're working with antique sewing machines, we don't want to mess that up. So now I have a nice guide going further down the bed of my sewing machine, and I'm ready to sew. So now my pieces, I want to shuffle them just a little bit. So I have my stacks, and I want to shuffle them a little bit, so automatically they are going to just kind of get the colors mixed up. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to shuffle this one all the way to the bottom, and like so. So then we're ready to get these 3 together. First one, we're going to take the middle unit and the one on the left, and we're going to just sew these 2 together in the first round. So I'm just going to lay them right sides together and align that cut edge, and then I'm going to place it under my sewing machine, so that, as I told you before, so the foot is aligned with the edge of the cut fabric. And now I'm just going to sew a straight seam. Making sure you follow that edge with the edge of the foot. And as you sew these together, we are going to chain piece them. That is a term very much used in quilting, and that means I'm not going to cut the threads after I end this piece. I'm just going to grab the next 2 pieces and keep sewing the middle unit to the left unit, and I'm automatically mixing up my colors. So I just want to make sure that I'm not sewing the same fabric or the same color next to each other, so that they'll automatically kind of get dispersed throughout the quilt. Now that we have all our middle units pieced to our left side unit, we're going to press them. So I love this little gizmo. It's called the cutting gizmo. It has a blade on the top, so when I'm cutting apart these chain pieced units, I just can pop that thread in the middle right on top like this until I have them all cut, and then I'm ready to press them. So when you're pressing, I always want to start with going over the seam with my iron. This sets that seam, and then you want to kind of fold it out with your fingers and always press from the right side of the fabric. And then I'm just going to push it out with my fingers and just follow along with the iron like that. And then keep going like so. Push it out. And actually you can leave this here and put the next one on to kind of save time. And then that bottom unit gets an extra press. So keep going this way, and as you can see, we're pressing away from that middle unit. So we want the seam to go away from that middle unit. And once we have all of these done, it's time to put our outside unit on. So now we're going to sew that right side unit onto that middle unit, making sure that we're sewing it to the larger unit. So I'm going to take this one and just flip it over right sides together with this one. I'll align the cut edges, and then we're going to sew these units. Same way, we're going to keep going this way. If you end up like right here, I have two greens and I don't want that to happen, so I'm just going to flip this down to a different one so I can make sure that the colors get mixed up. No big deal. It doesn't have to be that organized or that big of a problem. I just make sure always when I'm getting to the end, when I have about 6 to 8 pieces left to do, then I kind of lay them out and make sure that I don't end up with all of the same colors, and that will kind of get me in trouble that way. So you're going to continue on and finish all of your units this way. Once we have all our block units done, I'm going to cut them apart again and press them. I like to always press one seam at a time. It gives a much better result. So same thing, we're going to set the seam and then press away from that middle unit. So we can lay them on, stack them on top of each other. And continue on until you have all your units pieced. For the lap size quilt, you will be making 42 blocks because you were using 42 squares. So it's always a good way to, if you need to change the size or you want to add a row to the quilt, you can always just grab some more squares. So now we have all our pieces sewn, and next step is to trim them up to a perfect square. So we want to take our block and we're going to lay it so that the seams are going vertical. And now we're going to grab our ruler and we're going to lay that on top. I'm going to be changing the stickers a little bit, and that's what's great about the arrow stickers, that you can remove them easily and move them around and reuse them a few times. So I'm going to be cutting just on the 0 and the 9, but I also want to kind of highlight a couple of lines here in the middle. So I'm going to highlight this one, which is the 3.5-inch line, and then I want to highlight the 7-inch line. And the reason for that is now we're going to trim this. We already have the block, now it should be 9 inches this way because we added 2 seams, but this way we want to trim it to a 9-inch. And what we want to do here is we want to use the horizontal lines on the seams versus looking at the outside edges. So that's why I like to highlight these lines so I can see them quicker and I can just line things up. And then I also, what I want to do is kind of center the block between the 0 and 9, because those are the slits that I'm going to be cutting through. So that way I get a good nice trim on each side. So now you're just going to place your cutter in the 0 slit and the 9-inch slit, and you will have your square block. So continue on this way, trim all your blocks until you have 42 for the lap size, or if you want to make any of the other sizes, make all your blocks so that they are square. So now that you have all your blocks done and trimmed, it's time to lay out your quilt. So the lap size quilt has 7 rows of 6 blocks. And this is how it goes together. So you want to just kind of find a good area where you can lay out your whole quilt, either a design wall or maybe just the floor. And you are going to lay the first block so that the seams are going horizontal. And then the next one, you want to turn it so the seams are going vertical. And you just want to lay out all of your blocks, because we want to make sure, like before, that we're not putting the same colors next to each other, and you want to make sure that all these colors are very well dispersed. Now, I don't have room for more than 3 here, but this would be the first row. Then the second row, you'll just alternate it this way. So if the block above is going horizontal, the next one should be going vertical, and vice versa. So we're just gonna play with that and continue on. Once I have all of my blocks laid out for the quilt, it's time to sew the rows together. So then you would just take all the blocks in a row, you would flip them over and sew them together this way. You sew a seam this way until you have the whole row pieced. And how those are going to be pressed, you're always going to be pressing towards the block that has vertical seams. It's just easier, it will lay flat. And if you always press the seams towards these blocks, once the row is together and all the rows are together, you're going to sew the rows together, and all those seams will match right on those corners. So once you have the rows done, you sew them together and you get your quilt done. So I hope you enjoyed this and try it out. All you have to do is grab some 10-inch squares and the Stripology squared ruler, and off you go.